Hey, welcome back to episode 13 of our Fireside Chat. Today, again, it's Pastor Mark with Pastor Steve, and we're talking about plurality of leadership. And our key that we've been working off of is from our handbook, where it says resurrection leadership believes leading with plurality can serve the church in 6 different ways. We've talked a little bit about that. We've talked about having diversity with gifts. We've talked about having limitations where no one person can have all the gifts. We've talked about unity and having unity through plurality. We've talked about having accountability through plurality. Today, we're going to be doing this statement, and it says plurality provides a mechanism to deal wisely and collaboratively with the institutional necessities of the church. And Steve, that phrase is about the hardest one to say so far that we've gone through.
Yes, it is. But, it's probably sums up most of what we've talked about in a real sense. We've been going through a what I call the widget. You call it the
working genius.
But that's been, for me personally, been very eye-opening in the sense that identifying the individual's gifts in a simplistic way, but it's really, when we've done it here in our staff, when we've done it within the elders, it's pretty right on. And,
let me explain a little bit about what working genius is.
Okay.
It's Patrick Lencioni is a business guru. He's an author, and he came up with this assessment called the working genius. And there's 6 types that are built within it, and it really just talks. It works through like all aspects of a project, of coming up with an idea to getting it done. And it's just it was just a fun way for us on staff to kind of figure out, where did God gift us? Mm-hmm. Like, what do we get energy from doing things, and what burns us out?
Yeah.
And when we're talking through plurality provides a mechanism to deal wisely and collaboratively with the institutional necessities of the church. That's one of the things that we think to gifts. We think to, how did God build our leaders? And one of the most freeing things for me going through this process has been, I don't have to feel bad about not having certain gifts. Yeah. And in the past, like, I've always wanted to come up with the best new idea, right? Like that.
Right.
Deep down inside of me, I've always felt like I'm a bit of a failure because I can't do this very well. Or, man, one of the hardest things for me is when I've been in positions where my job is to just do things, like to check things off of a box.
Right.
I struggle greatly through that. And it's been a thing where I've gone to doctors to try to help me. How do I'm such a failure at work because I can't get this done, and it's been such a struggle for me. But going through this and understanding God has equipped me to act a specific way, He's given me passions in specific ways that I don't have to feel bad about not possessing all of them.
Well, in this, we also found out why Pastor Daniel loves to check boxes.
Yeah.
That's in his giftedness.
Yeah, God created him to be able to do that in a way. Like Pastor Daniel is an inventor. He loves to come up with new things and bright things, and I'm like, man, I wish I could do that, or man, I'm such a failure because look at him, he can do that and I can't do that.
Yeah.
But man, the freeing thing is to be able to go, hey, Daniel, that thing you do really well and I don't do so hot. Can you come help me? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love doing that.
And that energizes him.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's part of this. That is the reason for this plurality, in that we have recognized the gifts that of our leadership team, our elders, and our pastoral staff, and our staff, and key leaders within our church. It's good to know where they can best serve.
Right.
Again, we tend to go back to the military example. I don't want to give a sniper's rifle to somebody who can't hit a bullseye.
Right. Right.
Maybe that guy needs to be in a M1 tank or something.
Right.
But we need to have the specialties where they're best served, and within the context of the church. It's great to see the galvanizers and the wanderers and the different people all come together, and that's how we accomplish God's work.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're doing on the elder team is we're creating smaller teams within the elder team. So like right now, we're creating an elder governance team where we're working on our bylaws, or we're working on structure, and we have people that are really gifted in those areas. But then on the other hand, we have people that are working on training and counseling and bringing up new people to become elders. And how does that work? And we have people that are so gifted in doing those things. And it's a beautiful thing where in the past it was, who's doing what and how's it getting done? And why is it that one person seems to always be doing the same thing? Where now we're understanding where people are gifted, let's put people in those areas.
One of the teams I really appreciate very much is the financial stewardship team.
Right. Yep.
They do something that I am not good at. I do not balance budgets.
Right.
But man, I can spend some money.
Yeah.
And they help me keep the
guardrails up.
Keep the guardrails up and kind of say, okay, you've got, because we have that culture here that 15% of all of our contributions goes to missions.
Right.
And that's my department there. And I know all those folks out there and what their needs are, and give me the money, I can funnel it to where they're going, and they're able to do that very well. And it just, like you said, keeps that guardrail up for me and my missions team to be able to accomplish what we do. And
we've been rolling this out, and probably the last year, like we've really been focusing on like what teams do we actually need to have in place. And that's that structure thing, the mechanism to deal wisely and collaboratively. In the past, we would look to one person, maybe. What's the direction? Where should we go? Is this the right idea? And we're looking to one person to do that. And it's so tough. That's a ton of pressure on one person to know and to be wise and to do all of these things. Now we're saying, hey, let's do this collaboratively. The people that have passion in these areas, the people that God has equipped in these areas, let's let them do that work.
Yes, and if we have one individual doing what really is a 3-person job, that poor soul is getting worn down. The sandpaper of life just continues to work on that individual. Whereas when you split it to the people that have the giftedness and they're doing their part, and it comes together as a complete person, it kind of reminds me of the Trinity.
Right. Yeah. I've seen a model where there's a group of folks that will say prophet, priest, king. Like, what are the roles that God had, that Jesus had, and who was doing those roles in the church? And so I've seen some churches where they went across and they said, okay, you're the prophet, you're the priest, and you're the king, and separated those roles. And sometimes they're saying you have 2 of the 3 roles or different things, but it's impossible to do all of those roles.
Yes, and let me be perfectly clear. There in no way does anybody on this side of heaven represent the Trinity.
Right, exactly.
But it's kind of cool to see how God created his kingdom.
Right.
And that we can be a part of that and fill our role.
Right. And this is the Trinity really is our example, right? Of there's a beauty to the collaborative nature of God.
Yes.
God, he sent us, we're here, and he doesn't need us to do anything, but yet he works through us in order to get things done. It's the beauty of that, which we want to capture and portray to the church and go, this is what it's all about.
Well, and again, I want to, I'm kind of hazarding to go down this road, but I feel like it's a statement that I feel like I need to make, and that making that example of the Trinity and the leadership model that we're using, it also, the other side of that is those that do not, that call themselves Christian, that do not look to the Trinity.
Right,
they look at it as a single mode, a modalist view of God. And that a modalist view of one man in leadership in a church is detrimental to the church. That's
Right.
been our experience.
Yeah. And, I can look back at like church history and I can understand why we got to that point of, one person. When people are moving to America and they're building brand new cities or little towns, really, and there's one pastor, and he's out there. His flock is the 40 people in the city or the town area, and understanding how we get there. But as God gives us more, the responsibility grows, and it's too hard to put on one person.
Well, and that as the church grows, as the church has matured in the century that we're in, we have to address the issues according to Scripture and how God's equipped us.
Right.
That's not to say that the church that's the home church in, let's say, that country I referred to in a previous episode, one person is that leader, but at the same time, that leader still has to follow these models of accountability and all these things. And so
my advice to church planners that I'm talking to that are about to go out, I always look to them and it's like, don't do this alone.
Yeah.
You have to have people that are here with you. One of the examples is Aaron and raising his arms. Right. Like you got to have people there to hold your arms up as you're going through.
With
this.
Moses.
Moses. That's
Moses and Aaron, and escapes me the name of the other individual that was helping, but that's what happens when you go live on these podcasts. You just don't have that resource.
Mental recall.
Yeah. Especially at my age.
Yeah. I hear you.
That's why I need somebody flipping through the pages there helping me out.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be our episode for this week, where we've talked about, some practical things of plurality of leadership, some of the mechanisms that we're able to put into place because we don't put all the pressure on one person to get the job done. So we're going to have one more podcast where we're going through these 6 statements. And so we hope to see you guys for our next one.
Yeah.
Have a great week.